I've called myself a bald white guy. So,
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the And Then I Found $5 podcast. I'm your host, Colton, and this is my co-host.
You did the thing. Tyler. I hate when you do that so much. Because I'm like, let me get a drink of water while he does the intro. And then I'm like...
Yeah, but the thing is, I saw you getting the drink, and I was like, well, now obviously I have to do it. A couple housekeeping things before we get into it. Goddamn. Check us out on Twitter at 5_doll_hairs.
Good.
That's our new our Twitter handle. Twitter handle.
Yeah, our Twitter handle?
Because it was the closest thing I could get to, and then I found $5 without either being too long or being already taken.
Oh, really?
And I was like, well, doll hairs is kind of funny. And
New
5
band name.
is spelled out, so 5 FIVE_doll hairs.
I just thought of a really dumb way to do that.
What's that?
$5 $5_doll hairs.
I tried that.
Oh, it didn't work?
Everything was taken, dude.
What?
Also, you can't have a dollar sign. It's not allowed. You can't have
no special
in your handles.
characters?
Yeah. Because like our Twitter name is just Then I Found $5.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
your
but the
handle, is
I don't even remember what my personal Twitter handle is.
I don't think I have a personal Twitter.
I change my name on it all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Well, anytime I get on there, I always just change it.
Yeah.
Which is once every 8 months or something, right?
We're also on Instagram. Then I Found $5 because
That's just a kick.
Then I
in the
Found
nards.
$5 was taken.
You missed an opportunity.
What is it?
And then I found $5.69.420.
Triple X. Then I found $5.
No, big X, little X, underscore. Then I found $5.69.420 little X, big X.
You know what? I should have just gone for Booty Clap 42069.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, that's real miss. I just realized my phone being on the desk is going to rattle that. Well, it's really going to do it now.
Yeah. I mean,
I need to put this somewhere. I'm not going to roll over it though.
That's a good point.
That should work.
Our number one listener, not the listener from Ohio, but our number one listener, number one fan, loves podcasting about podcasting. So he'll be happy to hear that we took one of the shock mounts off.
You really buried the lead that you just outed a guy in Ohio.
I know, because I want him to feel included.
Oh, in that case.
Or there's 8 different people in Ohio. I have analytics, I know.
What if it was a VPN? That would be impressive if you VPN'd specifically to Ohio.
Every time?
Every time.
Yeah.
I need to get these guys some, I want them to feel repped from Ohio. Also, I'm going to do that now, just so you know. I'm gonna get a VPN. I don't have a VPN right now. I'm gonna get one and just start, and I'm not gonna tell you.
Just to mess with. Hey, downloads are downloads.
And I'll just put them in random states.
It'd be amazing. I mean, we have downloads from the UK now. We have downloads from Vietnam.
That feels very VPN-y.
That feels VPN-y. The UK one,
I could see that.
I don't know. I see the thing is I can't remember if I told my roommates that I have a podcast.
Ooh.
And then if I did, one of them went back home not too long ago, about the time those downloads popped up. So I'm like, well, maybe
it's just him.
Maybe it was him checking them out. If he did, he didn't talk about it, so clearly it was trash.
Well, you don't want to bring up the awkward. You just sit in it.
Yeah. Like the fact that I told a certain family member I had a podcast, and then got no downloads from that state.
What if they're VPNing in Ohio?
They don't have a VPN. They don't even own a cell phone.
Have they traveled?
They were just in Colorado and then Utah, but I also don't have downloads from there, so.
What a miss.
So,
what a kick in the nuts, you know?
I didn't really expect it to happen, but I was like,
I won't lie. When somebody tells me... So I had, one... And I'm going to use friend very loosely. Somebody that I sort of went to school with.
He hates this person.
I went to school with them, but they're 3 years older than me. I was in the same grade as one of their siblings. It was somebody's older sibling, barely.
He set their bedroom on fire. That's how much he doesn't like this person.
That doesn't even make sense. But they like, I think he has a podcast with somebody, and they like put it on Facebook and yada yada. Never listened to it.
Oh,
never planned to.
No.
Ever. So.
No, I wouldn't listen to the podcast that any of my family or friends put out if they put one out. So I don't really expect them to.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
which doesn't really
totally understand if you're like, I'm making a podcast. And I was like, I listen to you talk all the time.
I mean,
I don't need to listen to it.
This is different because this is the greatest podcast started by two guys in Northern California.
Yeah, if they don't listen to ours, then
So I mean, we're special because we are a different sort of podcast. We're not those basic bitch podcasts that are just one a dime a dozen. So they suck for not listening to us, but I would never listen to theirs because theirs are obviously inferior and trash.
Yeah, we're not a dime a dozen. We're $5.
Exactly. Just go ahead and let that sit there for a while.
Yeah, I literally almost said, it's a joke there, but I don't know what it is. And then I was like, no, I'll just wait.
So my brain was like, wait, how many dimes are in $5? And then I couldn't do the math.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 10 cents.
Allegedly, I don't know.
I'm so stupid.
Unless you nickel and dime them, and then you really get a ratio there.
Yeah, man, what a trip. How's your week been? I took the whole week off at work, so mine's been chill.
Mine has been.
Also, don't mind me. I'm just gonna open this Coke.
Hey, what'd you do on your weekend off? Yeah, see how it is when somebody messes with you and you're gonna drink. Anywho, so it's third week of master's program, and the highest example, and I'm sure every person that's ever been to school knows this, of the lecture covered 2 + 2 = 4, and the homework was trigonometry. And they're like, we told you though, 2 + 2 = 4. And you're like, how did you get to here that we would know
all
this?
Math, dude.
It's all math. Yeah, I was like, oh my
Once
gosh.
you know math, you know all math.
The thing that's most frustrating is not the jump in the thought of the things.
Yeah.
It's just literally the way you get there, because it's a programming class. So there's literally operations that we don't have any idea about, and you had to use them to do it in any sort of not writing a billion things or something that would be way more complicated and even harder for us because we barely know how to write 5 lines without getting an error.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so you had to know things that you didn't know. So it just turned in a bunch of Googling, and then thankfully have a buddy who knows some things that was able to...
Famously, college is homeschooling, so teach yourself.
It's real frustrating.
You know, when you that feeling when you spend thousands of dollars on an education that you have to self-teach?
Yeah, especially when there's things like Khan Academy and number.
That's clearly a scam.
Even though it's free.
No, the joke there was I should have said con.
God.
But then I said scam instead because highbrow humor.
Like up above your head or?
Yeah, 5 brain humor, dude.
5 head humor. Tell you what. Like Peyton Manning would get that joke. That's a 6 brain humor.
Oh, gotcha.
Peyton Manning is famously known for having a big forehead.
Gotcha.
And referred to as
bald?
a 5 head. No.
Oh, okay. Because I have a 5 head because my forehead starts like about the back of my head.
But at what point doesn't the name forehead mean it's on the front?
Well, let's
or
not,
are we only
let's not
just
bog
going
this down in specifics.
to numbers? Or do you have a 9 head?
I mean, I think I probably have a 9 head.
If this is 4...
Your forehead starts where your hairline ends. Because
if it's to the back, it's 9.
If you're walking backwards, your forehead is now the back of your head. So,
wow. Yeah, sure. I understand that.
Yeah.
Can you hand me my blue light glasses so I can feel like smart with glasses so I can understand that joke? Oh, that's a noise. Here, let me put these on. Now I'll understand.
Also, this chair. Holy shit. It's really loud.
Oh, I get it.
Yo, you look like if Harry Potter was a lumberjack.
Thanks.
Like a big old bushy beard Potter. Bushy beard Potter.
I feel like knowing what I look like, but based on that description, you just described most podcast hosts.
I think so.
So that's good.
Also, put a guy with like brownish hair, a white guy with brownish hair, in round glasses, and you can just say Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you Elijah Wood?
Yeah. Also, I love that they look so much alike and are main characters in, while they're not similar stories in their actual...
Yeah, but there is like a weird association.
They're in that same, like, a lot of people that like Harry Potter like
Lord of the Rings
and like not even exclusively other things. It just feels like those two are a lot of times together. Like, if you were a kid, you read Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. They came out around the same time. Sorcerer's Stone came out in 2001. The movie did. The book came out in like 97 or something. I don't know.
You're asking the guy who's never seen them when they came out.
When did Lord of the Rings come out?
2001. I don't know. I think.
Yeah, but they're all like early thousands. Yeah. And I think that's what it was. Is any kid that was like, I want to watch a movie about wizards. They're like, what if there was another one? And you're like, sign me up.
Tyler just tried to like emphatically rip his glasses off and they got stuck in his headphones and then slapped him in the face.
It's funny because I don't wear glasses. These are the only glasses I have, and it's because it's one of those, getting old things / now that I work in front of a computer.
Yeah, prevent some eye strain.
All day, my eyes will get super strained. So yeah, not exactly a lot of experience. But I'll put these back on so I can feel like a real podcast host.
I like it. It's a good look. But to return to what you were saying, I think Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings were very much the zeitgeist of our time, right? The zeitgeist. So it was kind of one of those things that you liked both because those were the two big things.
Yeah. That and the prequels. Which is everybody's favorite trilogy. Oh, now? I think it is a lot of people's favorite because of nostalgia being such a thing.
Also,
because I didn't watch the original trilogy. It came out 40 years. I mean, I watched them because my dad watched them. And then the prequels came out and I was hyped for them, right? But to me, when I think Star Wars, I think prequels. Because those are the ones I saw as a kid.
So, maybe I don't know how unpopular this is. Because I feel like this is actually like an emerging narrative. But the original trilogy are not that good. They're kind of trash. Because they're so old and corny.
They're the classic for the time. It was like
incredible, mind-blowing.
And now, I feel like a lot of and I won't even go on the Disney side of it, but like the prequels themselves, a lot of the things that people are like, oh, I didn't like prequels for this or that. I was like, that was in that type of stuff was in the original. Yeah, but it wasn't quite Jar Jar, right? Like
the prequels gave us like legitimate world building and like.
Yeah, the other ones
information. We learned things,
but there were a lot of novels that did, and then it made the movies better. But like standalone, the prequels.
You don't know anything.
No, like
half of the stuff you know about like Jedis and stuff came from the books, which, I mean, I don't know. I feel like my media is somewhat separate. I should be able to get a complete information package from a film without reading the books.
For instance, Obi-Wan talks about the Clone Wars like 20 minutes in. Sorry, old Ben talks about the Clone Wars in like the first bit, and you have no idea. Like, the narration is just like, there's an empire, there's things, and then you're like, oh, the Clone Wars? What was that? And it doesn't even like, he kind of explains that's like how the empire, but it's, again, it's very just like, well, actually, I know the reason why. It's because the movie was made before any like books were really, at least published. They might have been written.
I thought the books all came after.
Yeah, they all came after. Wasn't the
first book like written based off the screenplay for A New Hope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Star Wars nerds that are not listening or are, feel free to fact check that. But I'm pretty sure like Star Wars originally. It's not one of like most things now where it's like, oh, it's based on a book. No, it's like they were movies and then there were books based on them.
Yeah.
And then the world got bigger and bigger and then they've Canon in Star Wars is wild. It
Disney
went
said,
out and then it cut back.
Disney was like, nah, fuck all that stuff.
Not all of it, actually. They kept probably 10% of it, but...
Yeah, but my favorite XYZ series is no longer canon, and I'm salty because...
Oh, excuse me.
It means so much to me.
They've actually... There's a lot of new books that have come out.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like a ton.
Yeah. I've actually kind of wanted... So I read quite a bit. I've kind of wanted to read, like, some of the Star Wars books, but I don't even know where to start. I don't really...
That is the reason
care
I
that
never...
much about the movies.
That's the main reason I did. As someone who's, like, a pretty big Star Wars fan, I'm like, knows a lot of it. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Yeah. I feel like audiobook is probably the way to go, but then I'm just like...
Even still, I'd be
where to start?
Like, it's tough because a lot of the, like, really good ones that used to be post Return of the Jedi aren't canon anymore, and a lot of those had, like, more interesting routes, you know? Like, a lot of them followed the same narrative as far as I understand it. Like, Han and Leia's kids, I think they had twins, and it was this classic, like, one went bad and the other had to turn them back or something. Maybe they both went bad.
That's what I thought was happening with, like, the new ones. Is that they were going to be, like, siblings and separated at birth or something again or whatever, but
no, yeah.
Yeah, no, she's just...
Well, you knew they didn't because they didn't kiss. Like...
Yeah, I mean, like, the original trilogy had siblings kissing. That's weird.
Yeah.
And Han Solo's kind of...
As far as I understand it, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't canon at that point that they were siblings.
I mean, that has to be, like, otherwise you wouldn't deliberately...
I'm pretty sure that was what happened. Again, fact check if you will. But that's the rumor that I've at least heard / you know, on
also,
whatever.
Han Solo, kind of predatory. There's a scene when they're in the Millennium Falcon on the asteroid. And he's like trying to kiss Leia, but she doesn't want to be kissed, and then he like forces her to anyway, and it's like, oh, see, now you like it.
Yeah, and then that's when she calls him a scruffy looking nerf herder.
Yeah. Super weird. Hey, don't do that.
Nah, it's the 80s. You can do... Oh. That was
Hollywood in the 80s.
I mean, Grease.
Yeah. That was like the thing is like... But, I don't know. People glorify the old ones. And don't get me wrong, they're like... They're landmark films that change cinema.
Oh yeah, they're good, but don't act like they're light years ahead.
No, they're just in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago.
But they're thinking about light speed. Get it like it. Never mind.
I know. I was like, that was like a 12 brain joke.
Yeah, 12 head.
12 head joke.
Yeah.
12th head.
Man, I don't know how we got on that, but we did.
Hey, so we're going to take a quick break and throw to our sponsor of today's episode. So we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Low Effort Comedy. You know that one guy you went to college with who always had the darkest, most sexist, and inappropriate sense of humor? The one who made offensive jokes and then got mad when people were offended and called them snowflakes? The same guy who never grew out of it, even after his wife put a restraining order on him? Yeah, that guy. Well, today's episode is brought to you by Low Effort Comedy Like That. Have you ever wanted to get a laugh from people because you made them so uncomfortable they didn't know what else to do? Have you ever wanted to draw low-grade stick figure porn in a child's game? Then Low Effort Comedy may be right for you. I know that when I switched to Low Effort Comedy, I realized how incredibly easy comedy actually was, which is why I decided to start a podcast with another white guy in Northern California. You can sign up for Low Effort Comedy today by calling 1-800-LOW-FO. That's 1-800-LOW-FO. The first 100 callers get Low Effort Comedy for half off, plus a bonus dark joke starter pack for free. Don't wait. Call now at 1-800-LOW-FO. That's 1-800-569-3336. Thanks to Low Effort Comedy for supporting this episode of the podcast. Thanks to our sponsor of today.
Hopefully it was good. I mean, they were good.
You're really good. Thanks for supporting us.
I wonder if it was a VPN. I love seeing the like landscape of YouTube sponsors. Where you're like, what company has really been shelling out money recently?
Yeah, remember when it was all like Dollar Shave Club, like 6 or 7 years ago?
I've seen that a lot recently.
Is it making a comeback?
Yeah, I see it.
I feel like
a decent
Harry's. I see more now than I did Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club was huge. Now it's all VPNs and Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Which I've never played. I don't know.
I haven't either. I play a game similar-ish to it. It's a Star Wars game, actually.
That's topical.
Galaxy Heroes. Shout out. Not a, like...
Shout out, sponsor us.
Shout out, sponsors. They are $1 billion. They've made $1 billion on that game.
And you know what our 56 listeners are going to do for them?
Maybe get it and then be a little disappointed because the game's changed a lot in the last couple months. Probably.
But the power of our audience that we can leverage.
Oh, yeah. Ohio guy.
Hey, Ohio guy. How do you feel about... What was the name again?
Oh, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Ohio guy. How do you feel about a sponsorship from what he said?
That game.
That game. Yeah, anyway, I totally forgot. Yeah, so work, master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Played a little b-ball this morning. What else you got going on?
That is literally it. That is my life now. It's very like scheduled, and I low-key love that lifestyle.
You doing the grind?
Yeah, I'm waking up. I'm not sleeping. I only sleep 2 hours a day. Then I get up and I go play basketball.
And you know what I hate about myself? I'm wasting 2 hours sleeping.
I'm wasting it. Sure, could I get more energy back and be better equipped for the day? Screw that noise. I'm doing more.
Could I be more productive on a full night's rest? Don't answer that.
Shut up.
Get on the grind.
Weirdly speaking of that, I saw like a very short clip somewhere of Joe Rogan asking flipping Elon Musk that.
Yeah.
It's like, how much do you sleep? And he's like 6 hours. And he's like, he had that like, wow, that's a lot. And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, when I went below that, you're just too tired in the day. But I found 6 hours works pretty good.
I've seen the same clip. I think it was YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, and it was just like I could tell what Joe wanted to be like, man, you only sleep like 30 minutes, right? And he's like, no, 6 hours is pretty good. I feel like I have enough time to work, and I'm also pretty well rested. I mean, it's not ideal time, but some people it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't. So what is with? No, not to like rag on hustle culture again because we talked about it a lot. But what is with the fascination of like sleeping less, like early to bed, early to rise? And that's fine. They're saying, like, get up early, but go to bed early. But a lot of people are like...
Oh, no. They're like, go to bed late, wake up early. And you're like...
Yeah.
Why? So I can be exhausted?
So I can have a stroke in my 50s?
Yeah, I'd have a stroke. And yeah.
Like, it's so unhealthy. You're not productive. You can't concentrate. I get migraines if I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah, and this comes from somebody who's on submarines.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think it's... I don't know. I think it's...
That's actually not fair. Everyone on submarines is like, no, we need to sleep more.
Well, yeah, hearing you talk about that, I don't understand that either, because that seems to me that, like, you put people in a high-stress situation and then sleep deprive them. I get that you guys functioned extremely well because you had really good training, but also it just seems like a dumb idea. Because people who function really well function even better when they're well-rested.
Yeah, that was a fascinating thing where you'd be like, someone would be like, how much sleep do you get? And you're like, I mean, I went to bed, right after dinner, and my schedule is so I sleep between, dinner and breakfast, because other people's are lunch and dinner because they do the night shift on their way and stuff. And it's like, yeah, so, 6.5, 7, maybe 7.5. I don't know how fast I fell asleep because low oxygen makes your brain hurt. And they're like, oh, you could have been qualifying in that time or doing other work. And you're like, okay.
I just don't get sleep, period.
Hated on because I slept a normal amount of time. Like, sure, like one time, or I say one time, a couple of different times when my schedule was right where there wouldn't be like trading in the evening. I straight up went to bed at 4 p.m. and woke back up at 8 a.m. the next day.
Hell yeah.
One, because there's like 18% oxygen, so you're flipping exhausted.
Your brain don't
and you
work.
can literally just sleep for 16 straight hours and only wake up like once to pee, maybe.
I can do that now, and I'm at normal oxygen, and I've never been on a submarine.
Oh, well, then it wasn't even like I'm going to go back to sleep. No, you would literally, like, if nobody woke you up, you'd only wake up like, oh, I have to pee really bad. And then you're like, what time is it? And you're like, oh my God. I've been out 14 hours.
That's wild.
And it was like literally one of those sleeps where you're like, whoa, what happened? It's like, dude, you've been out 14 hours. And you're like,
one of the ones where you time travel?
Holy cow. Yeah, that's, it was called racking to the future because you're racked. Because whenever you had a good schedule, you're like, what are you going to do? And you just be like, I think I'm going to rack to the future. And you're like, sounds good. Cool. Or for me and my buddy, yeah, I'll play some Pokemon. Might get to the 5th gym. Then I'll rack to the future. That was underway. That was like prime time underway schedule.
It's wild.
Watch, clean up, food, Pokemon, pass out, do it again. It's really depressing. I mean,
for 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's really it sucks a lot, but it's one of those like it sucks a lot, and then after a while you get into the routine.
I mean, people have a marvelous ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Just get Stockholm syndrome for the sub.
Except you don't ever actually like it all. The whole time you're like flipping.
I'm sure there's someone who does.
Oh, there's plenty of Hoo-Yah people. That's what we call them.
Hoo-Yah people?
Yeah, because
Hoo-Yah are super
like
gung-ho?
Yeah. Well, Hoo-Yah is like the Navy word. How all the branches have different words.
Yeah, like the Marines are like oorah or whatever.
Yeah. So we call them Hoo-Yah people.
Gotcha.
Or as one buddy of mine would say, because it's Hoo-Yah, and he would say, Hoo yes. We'd be like, Hoo yes. And people that are Hoo-Yah flipping hated when we said that. And then we just say it again, because what are they going to do? Get mad at us because we said a word different? Yes, I mean, they would.
You know what I love? Is the episode we did over Memorial Day. We never even mentioned that you were a veteran.
Nice.
And then the one that we record on 9/11, dating myself, I better get this out on time.
Yeah, you better not screw this up.
Now we mentioned that you're a veteran.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of funny. Goddamn American hero.
Yeah. I had the ribbons that meant I was in the Navy for the appropriate amount of time.
Better than an inappropriate amount of time.
Or some of them are literally, there's one called the Good Conduct. You get one every 3 years for good conduct. And
does that just mean you didn't get in trouble?
Yeah, it just means you didn't get masted.
Nice.
I got that one, not to brag.
What does masted mean for the listeners?
Oh,
I mean, I obviously know like all that.
I obviously know.
I was basically like.
It's where you did something against like one of the UCMJ, which is like the laws. Except the UCMJ has a lot of stuff that aren't laws to normal people.
Okay.
Like the one that always comes to mind is adultery is a crime in the military. 100%. I know a guy that got kicked out for it, and good, because screw him.
Sounds like that's what he was doing.
No, he wasn't screwing the guy. No, but yeah, it's like a crime. He got kicked out of the military for breaking that UCMJ article.
Okay.
Which good, because he deserved it. And then there's like other weird, there's like a catch-all that's just like breaking an order or whatever, and it's just a catch-all for anything. Like if it doesn't fit under something, if you were ever ordered not to, because like there's like what they call them, page 13s. It was basically like, hey, here's a page 13, like for coronavirus, for instance, right? If you're not vaccinated, they made people sign page 13s that said basically, I won't go out in public and party unmasked at places, like a list of things. They break any of those, they break their page 13, they break the you broke an order thing, so they can mask them.
Okay, so masking is the term for the disciplinary action then?
Yeah.
Okay. Which
is you can be reduced and ranked, and then you're awarded a forfeiture of money. That's how.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
You win the opportunity to give money back?
Yep. And then you can also get confinement, all sorts of stuff. But normally what happens is it's called get knocked down. So like, you go from E5 to E4, and then eventually you can get back up again. But because you have that mark, it always takes way longer. And you lose like $500 a month for 2, 5, whatever months they decide. And then you're also usually put on restriction, which means you also have like extra work duties. And sometimes sometimes you go to the brig or whatever the place is.
Gotcha.
Depending on the crime.
So it's literally like having something on your record as a civilian.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's the same as if you go to jail and whatever, except they can, instead of just finding you, they also get to reduce your rank like at work and reduce your income for the next 3 years or whatever. Oof. Yeah, it sucks a lot. And sometimes they're literally for stuff that you're like, I mean, sure. I mean, they broke a rule, but they also, because normally they're like, oh, if you break a rule, but you admit to it immediately or like whatever, they're like, okay, we won't mask you. We'll just put a letter of counseling in your thing.
Yeah, you just get a reprimand.
Just a little reprimand, whatever. Like, for instance, like any paperwork things, like logs type of thing. Like, you mess those up. If you purposely just go back and blaze them and put in, like, numbers like, oh, I checked all these valves and gauges and
but
stuff. Didn't do it. And you lie about it, you will get masked pretty much every time. But, like, if you blaze it and you admit it, they'll usually be like, cool, you're disqualified from watch, you're going to have to requalify, yada yada. But you told us immediately, usually, I mean, no harm, no foul. There's literally going to be harm, but like less harm, less foul. Because you owned up to it. But like sometimes people will literally be like, oh yeah, I did one minor thing, and they'll like own up to it. They're like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that was the thing, yada yada, and they're still like, yeah, screw you, massive. Like, oh my god.
Is that just politics of the situation?
Yeah. Because the person who gets to decide everything is the captain of the boat.
Oh, so if the captain doesn't like you, you're fucked.
Yeah. Okay. Or worse, if the chiefs are like your other leadership, they also are, they're like go to bat for you, is like kind of what most people say. If they don't like you, they'll be like, yeah, screw that guy. And the captain's like, cool.
All right.
They're like, okay, cool. We'll get him. Yeah, it's really weird. Like, it's not like unlawful, but it is certainly, like, you think normal law enforcement type stuff is biased. This is like extremely biased.
Yeah.
Because it's judge, executioner, and all that is the same person.
Well, and I was going to say, like, especially for you, and you can tell me if this is wrong, but you're a dude on a boat, in your case a submarine, which has very few people, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes very, and if the captain's responsible, then it's just like what your peer group thinks about you at any given time.
Basically.
That directly affects, like, your entire future, basically. Or at least future in the Navy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's weird. That's like gang shit.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also...
Imagine if you went to the court system as a civilian and the people at court were all your coworkers.
No, it's literally just like that. If your jury... Well, not quite your jury. It'd be more like if your boss... Or like for us, if it was like all the bosses above us and our boss got to talk on our behalf, and if they didn't like us, they could just rip us, and they're like, nope, he's always sucked. And they're like, okay, cool.
Your direct supervisor talks to the CEO.
Yeah. And then they get to put you in jail.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's not like that, but the really like ticky-tacky things is where immediately is that. Because like you'll have one guy do the exact same or like way less and actually get masked and lose rank and money and all that. Another guy will do something far worse, but he's liked for whatever reason and nothing happens to him. And you're like, cool.
Okay, boomer.
Awesome. Yeah. There's also a lot of weird stuff on boats that's like old British Navy traditions that is really weird. Like officers don't eat with enlisted.
Yeah, that's weird.
And they basically have the wait staff by the cooks. Like the cooks are like their wait staff. For the rest of us, it's more like a line, cafeteria style.
I don't like that.
And then also, one of my buddies who's an officer he was like, it feels really weird. You have to like treat the captain kind of like a king. Like, you're not allowed to get up before the captain does. There's, like, a lot of flipping weird rules like that.
That's so strange.
And he was always like, I don't like it. I'm going to go eat in the galley. And he got like, not like reprimanded, but people were like, hey, you can't be eating in the galley with the enlisted. And he's like, why? Like, and all of us were like, oh yeah, come on over, sir. Like, and like, not even like a fraternizing, like, oh, he's our best friend that will protect. We're no, it's like, no, that's the guy who's on watch with us, and he comes and eat with us after, because they sit in a room with 8 hours with each other. And then they go eat in a separate room with other people. Yeah, he's like, I just don't like it. And he literally got told, yeah, don't do that anymore. And he literally was like, we're like, oh, you're going to come eat with us? And he's like, I can't. People are getting annoyed. And I was like, what a fucking weird world we live in.
So strange. That's so weird kind of elitism that I don't like.
Oh, it's super elite.
I had a boss one time that like wouldn't come to like our group, like we'd put like group feeds together.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't come to him for that same reason.
Like,
and you know what? I didn't respect him more for it. I respected him less.
Like, I can understand. Like, I know a guy who was like leadership back in, I don't remember what part of the Navy it was. But it was kind of the like, yeah, I'm not going to come because I don't want to like, I don't want to make it weird for you guys. And they're like, oh, our like leaders here. So they like came.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, it's your guys' off time. I'm not gonna go get involved with that, right? He's like, if we're doing a big group thing, yeah, I'll come with you. But if it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the bar after, you want to come? And he's like, no, that's your time to decompress and talk,
totally
talk crap about me and
totally
like,
get that.
He's like, I don't want to come there and be, weird whenever that's your time to be like,
yeah.
I hate the Navy because they do this. And he's like, I'm sorry I did that, guy. No, like that's totally different.
No, I totally respect that. But this boss, we would like do feeds at work.
Oh, that is weird.
And he was like, his office was like down the hall, and he wouldn't come eat with us.
That's weird. Yeah, because I've seen that multiple times. My example where people are like even on the boat, one of my leads, he's like, oh yeah, I'll come hang out with you guys, because it was less of like a boss ownership type of setup that a lot of places are. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll come with you guys. Like that one, it wasn't even like that because there wasn't that like separation.
Right.
And then I've seen people that were in that separation were like, oh yeah, no, that's your guys' time to literally talk crap about me.
Which I totally respect. Like,
it's like, yeah.
Any
cool
supervisor manager is put in a weird position where they know they're not making everyone happy and people are going to bitch. Yeah. So being able to be like, no, I'm not going to come to the bar with you guys so that you guys can have the freedom to talk about work.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a bro thing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. I really heard those footsteps. You know why? Through the floor.
Through the floor, because we took your shock mount off.
Like I said, all stuff on boats are shock mounted for this reason.
Sound.
Anything that hits the hull of a boat transfers into the water can be listened to by sonar. And it travels like, there was charts up on the boat, like slam a toilet seat, it can be heard 5 nautical miles away.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or like drop a wrench, it's like 12 or 15 or something.
Damn.
Yeah, it's wild. There were some operations
and that's
that were
to keep the whales from listening, right?
Yeah. There was some operations that were like hundreds of miles away. Granted, those were actually like noisy, straight up super noisy things. But yeah, it was like, yeah, just for reference, like big things like that you can hear forever away. Sound travels amazing in water.
Yeah, well, whale singing can be heard like hundreds of miles or something like that.
Yeah, I heard crazy. Sonar techs will hear it all the time.
Yeah, but like, if I remember right, like whales can hear each other from crazy distances. I want to look this up.
All right, Carter, pull it up.
Carter, pull. Oh, we don't have Carter today.
I know. Sad day. Also, shout out to the Carter.
Like it didn't spell whales right, but whatever. Oh, Jesus Christ. A whale's low-frequency sounds can travel up to 10,000 miles.
Miles or nautical miles?
According to journeynorth.org. It just says miles, doesn't specify.
Amateurs.
Either way, that's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How whale singing can be heard by another 4,000 miles away. I don't know. According to Google, it's in the thousands.
The low frequency makes sense.
Yeah.
Science. I don't remember the exact reason, but I do. You know those things that you're like, I used to know the intricate of why
sound like propagates better through liquids and solids because there's less space in between, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's the air versus.
Yeah.
But I don't remember why low frequency does a better job. I don't know. Something about the wave heights or something.
Imagine if you could, and I know sound versus water and density, blah, 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 but imagine if you could yell and somebody could hear you 4,000 miles away. Like, I want to talk to my parents in Idaho, so I just yell.
That would be crazy.
And then wait however long it takes the sound to get there, and then they yell back.
Have you ever been in any science-y museum that has the big discs that you can like talk into a little spot, and then it does the little like you're basically talking to a radar dish, and then they have one like across the hall, and the way that like the sound reflects, it goes to the other one. So you can like walk up to somebody and literally like whisper, like, "Hey, how you doing?" And on the other side, they're like 100 yards away, and they're like, "Oh, I heard that." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm just whispering," and you can literally talk to them, and it's
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's weird.
They had them at some. What was that place called? It was in Oklahoma.
It was Ken Ham's Ark exhibit.
Yeah, in
Tennessee.
Tennessee, Kentucky.
In Tennessee. Kentucky. Tennessee, Arkansas.
Tennessee, Arkansas.
I mean, really, what's the difference?
I don't know. I've never been to those places.
Shout out to all of our Tennessee, Arkansas fans.
I actually know a lot of people from Tennessee and Kentucky. Navy-wise, right? Like,
and Arkansas.
I only know a couple from Arkansas. Maybe one or two.
One of my leads, not in the military, but one of my leads. I was never in the military, but you kept calling people leads, so I don't want to like confuse. I had a job because I was not in the military. She was from Arkansas.
Hashtag, why did they name it another state's name?
Because it's their Kansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Actually, which one came first?
Arkansas came first.
Did it?
That's just my guess, but...
Well, Kansas was a territory for a long time. Civil War, which one would it be, slave or non-slave? Remember that history lesson? Bleeding Kansas. People came in and killed people, or not? Did they kill people, or was that the voting across the state lines thing? I think the riots is what they called it. Bleeding Kansas. It was a whole big thing when they joined the Union.
Yeah, I don't remember that, dude. My education was selective. We'll leave it at that.
So you would not have talked Civil War in the South was wrong? Is that what you're... Or you just focused on that it was states' rights the whole time? We would have probably
focused on the fact that it was white people freeing people, and that's about it.
Now said.
Yeah.
All right, what state came first, Arkansas or Kansas? Arkansas is named blah blah blah. Why is it Arkansas pronounced like Kansas? So, let's see. Before statehood, Kansas. Oh wait, that's just facts on Kansas.
Ooh, God, this
okay,
chair.
Statehood admitted to the Union 1861. It was Arkansas admitted to the Union. Do we care about who was a territory first or whether they were a state first?
Whoever was in a state first.
In that case, why is this so hard to look up?
I don't know. It's weird. I'm looking it up too. All right.
No one wants to know. You know, it's a conspiracy. That's what it is. Okay. Whoa.
All right. Arkansas, June 15th, 1836.
By like a lot. Arkansas wins.
I can't find Kansas, though.
Kansas was January 29th, 1861.
Damn.
However, when did Kansas become a territory? That's what I'm curious about.
Year settled. Kansas was settled in 1727.
Oh, crap. So that doesn't...
And Arkansas was settled in 1686.
Okay, so, still won.
Fuck you, Kansas.
Wow.
You don't even have Kansas City in Kansas.
They do, actually. The city is split between both them and Missouri.
They couldn't even keep all of Kansas City in Kansas. So
Okay, I can get down with that.
fuck you, Kansas.
Also, the more popular side and like where all the sports teams are and everything is on the Missouri side.
Yeah, and it's not even their Kansas because somebody else got our Kansas. They can't keep the city. Really, what does Kansas have to offer anyone?
Oh, let me see if I can find it.
I can't wait till somebody like comments on this podcast hating us for ripping on Kansas.
I searched Arkansas into Google. The first question that people ask for, that part, is what is Arkansas good for?
Well, what is it good for?
Arkansas prides itself on being the world capital of a variety of things, including courts. Yeah, they really
I bet
love
Kansas
courts.
doesn't have courts.
Spinach.
But Kansas doesn't have spinach.
Folk music. And archery bow production.
And those are their main exports.
Yep. And Walmart. Don't forget Walmart.
Is that where Walmart started?
I think so.
No shit. I didn't know that. God damn. Welcome back to the Learning Cast.
Man.
We're going to rebrand as
Rogers, Arkansas.
We're going to rebrand as educational.
Heck yeah. They also have the largest Walmart.
Damn.
I had a book to get an idea. So I had a book about states when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, so like each state had like fun facts and blah, 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 right? It just had like basically wiki pages because back then that's all books were. It's just the internet.
I mean, all the Encyclopedia Britannica is Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly. Their big thing was having the world's largest Walmart. That was like one of their, it took up like a picture, like a 3x5 picture on their page. Like it was a lot of it. They're like, guys, guess what? Walmart. And they're like, that's your high point?
So our claim to fame is like really inventing the model for underpaid minimum wage workers in freaking enormous corporations.
To be fair, Arkansas is a gorgeous state. I've driven through it like several times. It has like all the nice woodsy part of like the like Ozarks and like those types of forests.
No, ozone's in the atmosphere.
Oh, dang it! Good point. But like super. It has like rivers you can go whitewater rafting. Like it has like a ton of that stuff. But otherwise, there's nothing there. There's like Little Rock and some other towns, and that's pretty much it. So it's basically like most of America.
I was gonna say, so it sounds like you're describing Idaho,
except with trees.
Idaho has trees. There are lots of forests.
Except
less trees and more deserts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, except for that whole desert part that you have to drive through when you're on I-15.
Yeah.
When you're like, wow, I think I can see the curvature of the earth.
No shit, like when you drive from Idaho Falls to Mud Lake, there's a stretch of highway that's like, probably exaggerating here, but it's like 120 miles long and it's just straight. It's perfectly straight. You can just see it disappear over the horizon in front of you. It's weird.
How does it do that? The world's flat.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, it's it's the refraction coefficient.
Oh yeah.
The diminishing angle of return on your refraction investment.
Oh.
Science, bitch.
Is it?
Is it though? We actually talked about Flat Earth 2 episodes ago.
Was it that recent?
Yeah, it was episode...
Carter, let us know what episode it is.
Episode 7 we talked about. So 3 episodes ago. After this one comes out. I think that was
Is it not even released?
No, it's released. I believe it was episode 7. It was the one before it was the one when we came back after the hiatus. So it was episode 7.
Oh. Okay.
Man, this is riveting stuff.
Yeah.
But
we found $5.
Yeah, then we found $5. But I talked about a bunch of different shit and I said nothing. I listened to it and I was like, wow, he sounds like a guy who's trying to talk about something he knows nothing about, but is acting like he knows stuff about it. And then I was like...
Then you found $5.
And then I was like, there's 24 time zones, right? Which is a stupid question, but it was even stupider because then I tried to like justify the question based on places like Arizona. But I was just being an idiot. It was a dumb question. I should have just been like, wow, that was a stupid question and moved on.
I think it's one of those, You're like, yeah, there's 24 time zones. To be fair, though, I mean, if you do count the Arizona difference, I guess there's more. But yeah, it's pretty mute.
I knew it was a dumb question. I shouldn't have tried to find a reason why it wasn't dumb. It was a dumb question.
But what if there were 87 time zones? Wait with me now. Then a day lasts 87 hours.
No, it's still 24-hour day.
No, I made more time zones.
I mean, really, if you think about it.
Actually,
so how many minutes are in an hour?
I don't know.
57 minutes in an hour.
Yeah, that sounds right.
How many seconds are in a minute?
50.
63. So really, multiply all those together, and that's how many time zones there are.
Flip, dude. 1 sec. Flip.
Also, I feel like a time zone should only take an hour to drive through.
Like, it's required. Like, 60 miles an hour, it should take an hour.
Every time zone should be 60 miles wide.
So you can drive around the earth in 24 hours. What if that was how they discovered the hour? Like, they cut the earth into 24, and then they were like, you got to drive till you cross that line.
So first they had to invent vehicles that went 60 miles an hour.
Yeah. And then they could do all that.
Yeah. What if your car went 100,
Weirdly speaking
though?
of this, have you ever heard about the French calendar and time system?
You mean the one before the Gregorian?
I think they did
I think I'm just going to say no because I...
So I'm pretty sure time as we know it.
Time is relative.
Was already established. And the French, it was like post one of their horrible revolutions that happened there for like forever. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it was Napoleon was like, guys, you know what? There's only 20 hours in a day. And we're going to have 8 days a week. Or it was something weird like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. We'd have to look it up more than just me quick Googling it. Maybe we'll revisit.
Yeah, because I want to say
Make a note, Carter.
Our current calendar, I think it was like a Gregorian monk or something that came up with it, but that was like 1400s. So well before the French Revolution.
I want to say it was in 17-ish time frame. Yeah, let's look up the 20-hour French flipping clock. But if I remember right from wherever I saw this, it didn't last very long because it doesn't work very well. Weird, because the time of day shifts 4 hours.
Okay, 1582 is a Gregorian calendar.
Okay, 1582, noted.
I'm not seeing anything immediate. We'll have to get back to you on this.
Okay, we'll revisit. Are we going to have an episode just called Time, where we just look up time facts?
Alright, I'm down.
I'm down.
That seems a little research heavy, so you better come prepared.
Who?
Come prepared.
Oh, okay. Carter.
There was a joke in there, but I'll let it go.
Wait, you made a joke?
No.
Oh.
This is a very, very serious podcast.
Yeah, we're educational.
We're now rebranding as the #1 greatest educational podcast.
Yeah, look out, Green Brothers.
Fuck you, Kansas.
Just hating on Kansas today. Whenever we get a viewer from there, they're going to be really mad.
Hang on, let me check the analytics. Let's see. Maybe I have one.
All I'm saying is we can never move to Kansas now. I know that was like your #1 location.
I was going to say, only people who live in Kansas were the people that are born there and of low economic status and can't escape.
I knew somebody in the Navy that moved back to Kansas because he got a job as a radcon.
After he got brain damage?
Radiation control thing, like teaching position or something. And it made, like 6 figs.
In Kansas?
In Kansas.
God damn,
So
I might move to Kansas for that.
That's why he went. He was like, I'll be like a king.
He now owns all of Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any, we don't have no Kansas.
We have one from Texas.
We got one from Texas, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio, 8 from Ohio, 2 from Illinois. And 1 from South Carolina. That's a new from today.
Dude, South Carolina, my old stomping ground.
21 from California.
Nice.
We have viewers from Vietnam, United Kingdom.
Unlikely.
Unlikely, which we already talked about.
But if you are, please comment, and I want to know how.
Yeah, hit me up on Insta or Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is...
Do you add on Twitter?
Yeah, at 5_doll_hairs on Twitter. Let us know where you found us and why you listened.
No. Why haven't you kept listening since there's only
Clearly
one?
they did. They're like an hour into this, so they kept, and it's episode 10. So
I mean, how many downloads from that country, or was it literally just one?
Oh yeah, it was just one.
Yeah, because.
But if you're listening now, thanks.
Also,
but if you're from Kansas, fuck you.
There goes all our downloads from Kansas.
What if like there was somebody who's listening who's like a really big name, somebody in Kansas who's like, wow, this is a great podcast. I'm going to share this. And then he gets to the part where I start talking about Kansas. And he's like, nope.
I will say this much. As someone who lived in Oklahoma for however many years it was, I don't remember, like 12. Most people in states that live in the Oklahomas and Kansases will also be like, screw Kansas.
Well, there's two types of people. There's the type of people who are like, screw X state, or the people who love it so much but would never listen to a podcast like ours anyway.
True, yeah, because they would have immediately saw the two guys in California and then have been like,
there ain't no way in hell I'm listening to two libtards talking about California.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no, they shouldn't even be part of the union no more.
Yeah, we should take out all them states. California, Washington, or really anywhere on the coast.
Let's get rid of all of our biggest economies in this country.
Let's get rid of every city so that it's just us 5 people.
Yeah.
That are America.
We really shouldn't. New York, too liberal.
Chicago, too much liberal. Guns.
Not enough guns.
Or not enough guns.
It's banned. Guns are banned in Chicago, and they have real high murder rates, which is proof.
Yeah, just every major city so that we just get...
We're losing our Second Amendment base now.
Oh.
Crap, dude.
What about our 14th Amendment base?
There ain't 14.
There ain't nothing after the 10. What is
all I know is I have the right
to... women voting rights? Don't worry, I got us. Oh no, 14th Amendment is... it's like the follow-up to the 13th that made like... It basically solidified all the freeing of slaves, I think.
Yeah. Because the only reason I think you're right is because we talked about it at the pub the other day.
La pub?
Yeah.
Guaranteed citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, including former enslaved people. Whoa. And granted all citizens equal protection of laws. Yeah, it was the solidifying of freeing of slaves, essentially.
And if...
Man, I remember more history than I... don't remember, since I didn't remember off the top of my head what it was.
I don't remember anything.
Hey, what's the 18th Amendment? 18th Amendment simplified for dummies. Also, 18th Amendment simplified Pakistan.
Sign me up.
For dummies. 18th Amendment
ban
the manufacture, sell, and import, export of all intoxicating liquors. Oh, I didn't know. 18th is prohibition.
Prohibition?
We're gonna lose our 18th Amendment, folks. You know, pro-prohibition.
The pro-prohibition folks.
The pro-prohibition folks. 19th is the voting one. Women's rights to vote.
Yeah, do you know when the women got to vote?
Somewhere in the 1800s.
No, 1920.
1919 passed by Congress.
Well, but it went into effect in 1920.
On August 18th. Nice. Look at that. What about our 20th Amendment, folks? I'm trying to find one of those weird ones that just doesn't fit with anything. Carter, cut out all this stuff for us.
It all goes in.
Oh, it all goes in.
Also, I want to talk about it now since we lost our chance to make a video about it. Because we're videographers now.
Oh, yeah.
We should talk about the man show.
That's a good point. We should.
Well, I mean, you can keep looking for these amendments if you want.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep finding.
I think we should actually propose a new amendment.
I actually heard one that is actually very thought out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't change them, man. Amendments aren't to be changed. These damn liberals keep wanting to add amendments and get rid of old ones. You think our founding fathers would want you to change the 20th Amendment?
The 20th Amendment is actually probably one that most people are in favor of. It's the term limit for presidents.
You think our founding fathers, when they wrote that...
I mean, yeah, because George Washington gave up or ceded power after 2, so...
So I saw something about, like, people complaining about, like... I don't even remember what it was. But they were complaining about all these changes and things in time. And then said our founding fathers wouldn't like it. But it was stuff that came about in, like, the early 1900s. It was, like,
literally founding father times?
No, it was, like, 200 years after the founding fathers.
Oh.
You know, like, all that stuff is nothing to do with them, kid.
Oh, yeah.
I say kid, but it was probably like a 65-year-old boomer.
Kid, listen up.
Listen here, sonny. Anyway, what's this new amendment?
Oh, I don't remember the exact language. It actually sounded like somebody actually thought out the language. But basically, public service is not meant to enrich those in it. So basically, the only money you can make while in public office is your salary. So basically, it takes away lobbying.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was like, it'll never pass because it literally
takes everyone's money away.
Yeah, it literally takes everyone's money away. But yeah, it's basically... I'll find the wording for it. Maybe while you talk about the man show and come back to it. But yeah, I was like... Yeah, I think everyone can get behind that. Except, obviously, current politicians that would be really mad about it.
Yeah, but term limits and that, whatever amendments, I can speak English. Yeah, so the Man Show was this show, and Kurtis Conner did a really good video on it. Created by Jimmy Kimmel and another dude. Do you remember who the other dude was that started it?
Oh... I don't think he did well after that.
Yeah, but...
So I don't remember him.
Anyway, it's like... It was a show that was apparently, according to, like, interviews later, supposed to, like, satirize the, like, toxic masculinity and machismo type thing.
So Spike TV?
Yeah, it was supposed to satirize it. But that seemed like, after watching, like, stuff about it seemed like a whole lot of retconning. They're like, haha, the joke was on us. As we were being, like... super sexist and awful to women and objectifying.
Yeah, it was pretty...
It was on us. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it was one of those... I can, like, see where that angle could have been the intent, but, like, you didn't do a very good job of showing it if that was the intent, and it makes it really not seem at all like that was the intent.
So Kurtis, like, cited an interview bit where he was like, oh, we never really knew if our fans knew that it was satire. If your fans don't know it's satire, then you've done such a bad job that I don't think it is. Whether that's your intent or not,
yeah, that's fair.
I think your content is how your audience receives it, or is what your audience receives it as.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's totally cool for an artist to be like, hey, this was my message, and this is what I meant. But if the majority of people don't see that message, does that message really count? Does it matter?
If they came out initially and did it, I think, yeah. Because I'm thinking more music, though. I think there's a lot of music that has been turned into something different, where the artist is like, that's not what I was saying. And they're like, if they, like, retconned it, then no. But in this case, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. I feel like, see, the thing is, like, if you're putting up music and you're like, oh, I'm criticizing violence in America, but it actually increases people's violence. That's a wild example because music doesn't make people violent. But let's say hypothetically it did, right? Or everyone who sees it thinks it's glorifying violence. The majority of people thinks it's glorifying violence. Is that not a song that glorifies violence now because that's what everybody sees it as, regardless of the artist's intent? Like, I think artist's intent matters, but how it's perceived is more important.
I don't know. Maybe. I think there's an argument. That's a case by case, I think.
I think that's fair, but I feel like if you're trying to satirize toxic masculinity, but all it seems to do to everyone who watches it is glorify it,
like in this case, I think yes. I bet, but I don't know if that's I don't think that is true. I don't think it's an absolute statement.
Yeah, I don't know because I feel like so I write, right?
Right.
And authorial intent is really important, right? What does the author intend? And that's a huge thing. Like, what is the authorial intent of this book? But if your readership perceives your book as one way, that is now what that book is to those people.
What if, here's the devil's advocate to that, is I've seen some post somewhere about 1984 where it was banned in communist countries for being anti-communist, and it's banned here for being communist. So what is that book's intent if two huge majorities see it opposite?
I mean, for us, yeah, I mean, that's a fair thing. But
it's definitely anti-authoritarian, but if different majorities see it as anti-communist versus or pro-communist, so there's literally the opposite end, at what point would because then you'd have two majorities that have totally differing views, and then the writer's like, no, that's not, like, wrong, like, you didn't, you clearly both aren't getting it.
I guess in my argument, it would be both of those things to each group. To one group, it would be anti-communist, and to the other, it would be pro-communist. And it's both of those things, regardless of the author's intent. By my own argument. I don't know if I agree with that, but...
Yeah, I think case by case.
Case by case. I can agree to
that. Overall...
Long story short...
Not, but...
Man Show. It's pretty fucked up.
Man Show... all my devil advocating... No, Man Show is bad.
It was so bad, dude.
Like the satire in that was non-existent too.
It was very hard to find. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you have to
it was like early, or I don't even know if early Howard Stern or just him in general, because Howard Stern is kind of that weird.
Yeah, like
that's
super objectify-y, which isn't a word, but now it is, and.
Not a word. I'll put it in there.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, they talked about, like, in the Man Show about how, like, women are ruining everything. And then I love the bit where they're like, yeah, Oprah, women ruining everything on TV. What do we want to see on TV? Women, of course.
Yeah, like, some of that, when you say it, I'm like, oh, I can see the satire in that. But, like, I've seen clips of the show and you're like... That might have felt satire-y on the script.
Yeah, in the writer's room, they're like, man, we're sticking it to all the dumb bro dudes.
But then, like, the fact that the whole show is just, they'll do that and they're like, we want to see ladies. And then they brought out like 20 people in bikinis and you're like, what? Like, okay. That's
it
not
appeals to
what you did.
I hate this phrase because I don't really agree with it, but it appeals to the male fantasy, right, of those type of people. So whether you're trying to make fun of them or not, if they're not aware, regardless of my argument, it's not an effective satire.
Oh, yeah.
An effective satire is when everyone in the audience can see that you're mocking those people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it did not do. So I remember when we first ran into this, like, we watched a few clips and it was like, or we didn't watch clips. I think we had an episode.
We watched something.
Like, we watched like an episode, because clips can
mislead you.
Yeah, because you can just pick and choose. No, like, just put on an episode for a minute and it was like, holy cow. And I just read like the titles of the shows and it was like, yeah, this is satire. It is not good. Like,
no, it's just bad.
Even a little bit. And I think what's more surprising is that a lot of people hadn't heard of it, because when it was like, oh, it's Jimmy Kimmel?
I think it's
Holy
his, like,
cow.
His skeleton in the closet. It's probably the thing that haunts him to this day, that he wants to go away and die.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, he just did it for like 4 years. Like, it was on a lot, right? I think we saw that it had a couple seasons.
Yeah, it had like 2 or 3 seasons. which is like a 1-season thing. You're like, oh, okay. And the other one that I saw was like...
Yeah, because you can get in production and then you see it on TV and then you know...
Also, that's a loud-ass airplane. Holy shit.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I've ever heard a plane be that loud around here. Because we have a little airport near our house, but it's crop dusters.
Yeah, that's weird.
What the heck?
What were you saying?
I don't remember. So I found $5 in my roof.
The other thing that, and Curtis brought it up. That sounds so painful. Curtis brought it up, but I think it's a relevant point. Is that Jimmy Kimmel's like, oh, I hated every minute of it. You know, it was work. I didn't like it and stuff. He was one of 2 creators.
That's pretty tough. Yeah,
it's like hard to like fully distance yourself from it when you are.
I can get, and this is a real. I don't even know if it's exactly the example, but in the show Master of None, Aziz Ansari's character is the host of a game show, but he's just the host. It's that. It's an acting job.
Yeah.
He took it. Not if you're the creator of it. He didn't create it.
It would be like us in the future when we're trying to distance ourselves from this problematic podcast. Yeah. And we're like, we hated every minute of it. It was just a job. We didn't want to be there.
You're like, you guys weren't making money.
They're like, you guys started it, conceived of it, started it, named it, did everything.
Did all of it. Only yourselves and a few other people.
I'm sorry, but that's on you guys. No, it was awful every minute of it.
Yeah, that's
what I'm going to tell Jimmy Kimmel's lawyers when they sue us.
If they're suing us,
they're broke or something.
Yeah, they're broke or something.
Hella bored.
Yeah, real bored. I tell you what.
Hey, so these 2 dudes with like, 50 downloads, they're talking real mad shit about a show you did in the early 2000s. And
he'd be like, "Is it the Man Show?" He'd be like, "Yeah." He's like,
"Fucking sue him."
He's like, "Sue him." It's like, I think he didn't want publicity from that.
I've had it up to here with these damn white guys in Northern California and their goddamn podcasts. Fuck them. And then he's like, "What podcast is it?" And we're like, "Then I found $5 podcast." And he's like, "Oh, never mind. I love that show."
You know, of the however many downloads we have in California, I'm most of them.
I put them on repeat. I listen to them all the time.
Every day of my life, I'm listening.
When I'm out cycling, I don't know if he cycles, but when I'm out cycling, I'm listening to it.
That's a thing that
people in California do.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he lives in LA.
I think Burbank, but same.
Yeah. When I'm at the gym, I'm listening to him. When I'm not on air, I'm listening to him. When I'm having sex, I'm listening to him.
Please don't. I just don't think it would be a good listen.
Can you imagine having sex and listening to a podcast?
No.
That'd be so uncomfortable. Or better yet, somebody puts it on. Imagine if you... This is getting really into the weeds. You're a happily married man, so I'll put myself in the scenario, right?
Yeah.
You're with this person. They don't know that you host the And Then I Found $5 podcast, but then you're hooking up and they put it on.
What if they did and that's why they're there? And then they put it on and you're like, what?
I would be out of there so fast.
If that ever happens, can you let us know?
Oh, I will, because that would be the weirdest experience of my life.
We just come on and we're like, we have a story to tell.
Guys, I got a therapist today.
Yeah. What happened? I got recognized, I guess. Doesn't make any sense. We don't have video. Oh my god.
I love the part that they know our podcast so well, but wouldn't recognize my name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in the situation they don't know the name.
Guys, I love this podcast. I have no idea who hosts it though.
Oh.
Anyway, and then we found $5.
Yeah, at least $5.
So, yeah. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't put us on while you're having.
Don't ever have sex and listen to us.
We'll flippin' sue you.
Or do, I guess, if that's your thing. I ain't judging, but ugh, weird.